Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever stopped and wondered how a country is actually run? Like, who's making the big calls, and how does that whole system even work? Well, today we're going to dive right in and unpack the executive branch of government.
So, let's start with a big question. Who's really in charge? You'd think that'd be a simple question, right? But the answer is actually way more interesting. Is it just one person calling all the shots? A whole team? Let's find out.
Okay, first things first, you've got to understand that the executive branch isn't playing a solo game. Nope, it's a major player, for sure, but it's part of a much bigger structure that's all about keeping power in balance. And this right here is the absolute bedrock of the whole thing, the separation of power. The idea is to split the government into different branches. It's actually a brilliant concept because it stops any one group from getting too powerful and creates a system of checks and balances. And the branch we're zoning in on today, the executive branch, is one of those key players. You can think of them as the leadership team, the ones who are actually steering the ship and putting all the plans into action. So, if they're the leadership team, who's on it? Let's pull back the curtain and meet the people who make up the executive branch. Right at the very top, you've got the head of state. This is the top dog, the main public face of the government. They represent the whole country on the world stage and, you guessed it, they lead the executive branch. And what's super interesting is how many different names this job can have. Depending on where you are in the world, the head of state could be a king, a president, a sultan, even a sheikh. The title might change, but that core leadership role, it stays the same. But, let's be real for a second. Running an entire country is a monumental task. There's no way one person could handle all that alone. It is definitely not a one-person show. The head of state needs a serious team. And this is where that team comes in. You've got people like a prime minister or a vice president giving direct support. And then you have the heads of all the different departments. The experts running things like education, transportation, or health. They're all working together to get the job done. Okay, so now we know who they are, but what do they actually do? What's on the government's day-to-day to-do list? Well, it pretty much boils down to these three core jobs. The executive branch plans for new laws, they make sure the laws we already have are actually being followed, and they set the big picture direction for the country through national policies. This quote really hits the nail on the head. Just think about it. A classroom without rules would be total chaos, right? It's the exact same idea for a country. Laws give us the structure we need to keep things running smoothly and safely. And that brings us to a really important term, legislation. That's just the official process of making new laws. And very often, it's the executive branch that gets the ball rolling, identifying a problem and proposing a new law to fix it. So what about those national policies we mentioned? Well, a policy is basically the government's official game plan. Think of it like this. A policy to fight pollution might involve new laws for cars and new investments in trains. It's the how-to guide for achieving their goals. And a huge piece of that puzzle is foreign policy. This is all about how a country deals with the rest of the world. Things like making trade deals, negotiating peace treaties, and just generally managing relationships with other nations. It's a massive job for the executive team. Now, it's really easy to picture all of this happening in some big, fancy Capitol building far, far away. But the truth is, the executive branch is probably a lot closer than you think. So does this leadership structure only exist at the very top, at the national level? No way. This whole system gets repeated all the way down to your own city or town. This pyramid shows it perfectly. You see the head of state up at the top, but that structure flows all the way down through states or provinces and right on down to local cities and towns. It's the same idea, just on a different scale. Just think about it. The governor of your state or province or the mayor of your city, they're executive leaders too. They're doing the same kinds of things, planning, enforcing laws, making policy, just for your local community. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that the executive branch isn't just one person. It's a huge connected team. From the president or king all the way down to your local mayor, they're all part of the same system, working together to lead and to serve. And that leaves us with one final question to chew on. From the roads you use to get to school to the safety rules in your town, how did the decisions made by this executive team, both the big guys and the local ones, actually shape your daily life? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.